It is Monday, September 19th of 2022. And boy, oh boy, what an interesting time I had this weekend. And I'm going to tell you all about it today on Guy's Daily Drive. Bam! And good morning, everyone, and welcome to Guy's Daily Drive. It has been an interesting weekend. It's filled with highs and lows. Ugh. Excuse me. So, a couple things. First, hold on, truck. This truck is creeping into a red light. First, tomorrow night is the Ringo Starr concert. And I still haven't talked to Guy and Ashley about how we're all going to meet at Ashley's house, because that is the plan. And they live about, 10 minutes from where the concert's going to be held. So we're all supposed to meet at Ashley's before 6 o'clock. Concert starts at 7:30, which is a weird time for a concert. I can't recall. Almost all concerts, they start like at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, that kind of thing. 7:30. I wonder if it has to do with the age of the performers, because they're all like in their 70s now, pretty much. I don't know who the full lineup is, so I could be wrong. But that's coming up tomorrow, and I will talk about those misadventures on a future Guy's Daily Drive. But let's talk about the misadventures that I had yesterday. Now, I think I mentioned this last week. My neighbor has season tickets for the Baltimore Ravens, and they played the Miami Dolphins yesterday. And as some of you may be aware, I am originally from the South Florida area. I wasn't always a Dolphins fan. Actually, when I lived in Florida, I was for whatever reason, Minnesota Vikings fan. I don't know why. I probably just liked the colors, purple and white. I don't know. But after I left Florida, I kind of began to appreciate some of the things that tied me back to South Florida, and one of those things was the Miami Dolphins. And so for my time that I lived in Ohio, started to appreciate them a bit more. And it wasn't just because, they started doing well with Dan Marino. It was just one of those things where it was like, here's this team, this football team that has been around. I guess, they came into being when I was like 6 or 7 years old. So it ties back to my childhood, plus my father, even though he was from New York, was a huge Miami Dolphins fan. So it also ties me back to memories of my father. What's everybody doing here? I'm going to scoot over here. So regardless, I became a Dolphins fan. And then when I moved to Virginia, I've never been Washington Redskins or Washington Commanders now fan. So there wasn't really, when I first moved to Northern Virginia, there was the Baltimore Colts were still here, as I recall, but I wasn't a Colts fan. and you had the Washington Redskins. And that was it, unless you went up to Philadelphia, New York, or Ohio, or some of those teams. So, I still went to a couple games. I went to at least two, and maybe three Washington Federals teams when the USFL, the original version of the USFL, was still around. But they were just woefully bad. And loved, still do, Washington Capitals. They're my hockey team. I don't really have a baseball team because I've never particularly cared one way or the other about baseball. So let's come to it. Oh, seriously? Wow, Jeep. Oh my God. That could have been really bad. Jeep just rolled through a red light 5 seconds after it turned red. Holy crap. Okay, well, back to what I was talking about. So when the Cleveland Browns in the late 90s became the Baltimore Ravens, even though I've got some dear friends in Ohio who just never got over that. They were so pissed off, and they were really mad at Art Modell, who owned the team at the time. But he was kind of left without much choice. He wanted a new stadium, and he helped, the way I understand the history of it, he helped the Indians, or now, who are they now? The Guardians, get a new stadium. And then when it came time for him, the city council was kind of like, well, you're kind of on your own. We're not going to do that. And he told them, if you don't help me get a new stadium, I'm going to move the team. And they didn't believe him. So he moved the team. He moved the team to Baltimore. And I became, more or less, living in this area, a Baltimore Ravens fan. But I have never forgotten how much I liked the Miami Dolphins. And the problem for so many years has been that since Bill Belichick took over the Patriots, they basically were winning the division every single year for like the last 20 plus years. And it didn't help, of course, that the Dolphins were just not a good team. So every single year, the few times that I would get to see them play on TV, they would just get this major shellacking from whoever it was they were playing. And there just seemed to be no hope. Well, a couple of years ago, they started getting better. And now they've got a decent team. I'm not holding out for championships or even playoffs at this point. It's, we're 2 games into the season. But they were playing the Baltimore Ravens yesterday. And my neighbor, who has season tickets, asked me if I wanted to go to the game. And I said yes. So, yeah, see my home team, even if I thought they were going to get beaten bad. So I put on my Dolphins shorts and a Dolphins cap and a Ravens jersey because, show the local colors too. And it was the whole ensemble was quite a hit. People were like, really? You seem a bit confused. It was like, no, not confused. Just enjoying the day and happy that my team is playing, and no matter who wins, the team that I like is the victor. And that was a bit of a fib because the game started and I thought that was, it was going to be like, okay, I'm happy that the team is playing, and I'm happy that, regardless of what happens, I just hope it's a good game. Well, it didn't really turn out that way. In the beginning of the game, first 3 quarters, the Dolphins were just not playing well. And the weird thing was, actually, let me take that back. Their offense actually was, they weren't scoring a lot of points, but they had these long sustained drives that just eventually didn't seem to go anywhere. There's that idiot in the Jeep that busted that traffic light. What does he look like? Or she? God. Whoa, everybody just relax. There we go. So, first 3 quarters of the game, Dolphins did not look good. They didn't look good at all. And going into the fourth quarter, it was 35-14. It had been 21-14. Dolphins pulled within 7. But then Ravens scored 2 quick touchdowns. And that was, it was weird because for the most part, the Ravens didn't have these long sustained drives. They'd have these like sudden strikes that just scored them points. Lamar Jackson ran for like 75 yards for a score. How the hell did that happen? And there were a couple of long balls that they scored on too. But the Ravens were not really on offense. Other than those big plays, they weren't really doing all that well. No long sustained drives. There was a fumble on the 1 yard line where that would have been enough to basically finish the game, and Lamar Jackson fumbled the ball. Dolphins got it back and then took it all the way down the field, like 95 yards, and got a touchdown. So going into the fourth quarter, I think it was 35-14. And then Dolphins scored 21 points to tie it up with, I think, about 3 minutes left in the game. And then the Ravens got the ball and they went down and they scored a field goal. And I was thinking, it was like less than 2 minutes at that point. And I was thinking, okay, well, this game is over. But Ravens defense, which had been on the field for quite a bit, because I think the Dolphins had well over 400 yards, easily 400, maybe 500 yards of total offense, and dominated the clock. So there was the Ravens defense had been on the field for almost the entire game, and they were probably tired. And the Dolphins go down, and with like 6 seconds left in the game, score a touchdown to win the game 42-38. I was stunned, and I think so were most of the Baltimore fans. And the weird thing was, I thought I would be like one of the few people in the stands that were like Miami fans, but there were a lot of Miami fans there. I looked over in this one section, and all I could see was like orange and teal, all scattered throughout that whole section of the field. And even where we were sitting, there were probably 30 or so that I could see all messed up. Yeah, I don't know how much of that came through, but I'm going to end this one, and I'll check it later to see what happened, how much of this. But if you want to get a hold of me, you can send me an email, guy@mymac.com, or podcast@vertshark.com. Vertshark.com is the place to go to see all of the most of the odds and vids. Not lately. There's my YouTube channel, VertShark, where you can see all of the videos, not just for Guy's Daily Drive, but everything that I do for video-wise for mymac.com each and every week, almost every weekend. And he's going to be off this week, or this weekend, because he's going on a fun trip, a really fun trip, and I hope he has a great time. I'm looking forward to hearing some great stories. And I am jealous. I'm totally jealous of this trip that he's taking because it sounds like it's going to be amazing. You can catch me on Twitter. I am VertShark and Mac Parrot over on the Twitter. You can help contribute to the craziness that is the MyMac.com podcast and Guy's Daily Drive and all the other stuff that I do by going to Patreon, patreon.com/MacParrot. You can buy me a coffee at ko-fi.com/MacParrot, or you can pay a pal at paypal.me/MacParrot. And I think that is going to do it for today. And I may have to redo this whole thing. We will see all of you next time right here on Guy's Daily Drive. Bye-bye.